So first, we need to think about a idea of what we're going to build. When the COVID first started, a lot of the company just switch to remote work, and Apple just yeah. I also got a programming channel. I talk about that program a lot when the Apple just announced their a headset device. I think it's called a Vision Pro, something like that. And I think this is a sort of a start of a trend that yeah, everything just go digital. Okay, so we're trying to we model things. When we actually model things, we're trying to build our a sort of a cyber life, a cyber life. Okay, so I think we are going to start building what we already have or what we couldn't have in real life digitally. So when the technology goes so advanced that we can just dive into that metaverse and play around with it. So yeah, I spent a lot of time before the computer. So what's a nice, what's a better place to start modeling than a couch? Okay, so because whether it's in real life or in my cyber metaverse life, I need a couch to sit on. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. So I think the cushion of the couch is pretty comfortable, and what is more, it's symmetric. So let's start with the cushion, and let's because I think the couch is sort of symmetric, even though some couch is not symmetric, but we can use mirror modifier to quickly do things. So what I'm going to do is to tap to go to the edit mode and grab that to one side of it, and maybe X, so sort of hold that to the one side of it. Okay, so the center will still stick to the original places, and that's a good place to start, because once I add a modifier, it will just flip that to the other side rather than just mirror itself. Okay, so it's a good way to start, and you can go one. Remember, we're at object mode. We can S and maybe Z axis, just to zoom it down a little bit, and we can grab it Z and move it up a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I think it's a pretty nice cushioning area, and we can modify that later. But first, I think maybe just add this mirror modifier will be yeah, make your life much easier. Okay, so then maybe S and maybe Z axis, just grab that. Okay, and then maybe grab that X axis. Yeah, because we add a modifier, I think maybe just don't move that at all. Just make this. And remember, if you using the object mode, you're never going to close the distance, because it sort of moves it all together. So if you grab that, if you want to move that, you just move it all together, and that's not what I want. So what I'm going to do is go to the edit mode and grab that, and maybe X axis, so I can close the distance between these two. And yes, this is just a nice tip for you guys. Okay, so yeah, I think maybe just a little bit closer, grab that X axis, you can using A to grab all, and grab X axis, just nicely close it in. Okay, so yeah, this is the basic shape of the cushion. And this is definitely not the way to go, because it's so hard, like a too solid rock, that you're not going to able to sit on that comfortably. So what I'm going to do is to add subdivision services to make it much more sort of rounded shape. And because the subdivision surface will apply to this whole object, so I think I can just go to the object mode. And remember, still this is just an object, a cube, and so we can add a modifier we already added some modifier, mirror modifier here, and what I'm going to do is to add a subdivision service. So subdivision service, subdivision service. Okay, so if you click that, it will just become a sort of a UFO shaped thingy, and of course you can change the settings. Let me just give you guys a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely not enough space. And okay, so yeah, we got the subdivision, we got the sort of advanced, we got quality. Yeah, I think maybe I'm going to add that level viewport and render a little bit up, so got more fine-tuned viewports. Yeah, I think 3 is already pretty smooth. Okay, so if you move it closer, it's pretty smooth. It's like a like a nice comfy cushion. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And of course, if you want the render result to be pretty good, but you want to the viewport to look rendered quickly, you can just make the viewports a little less than that. But my personal experience is that I like to make the render as well as the viewport the same, so I know what I'm doing right now. Okay, so yeah. But sometimes you don't want this sort of a rounded shape. You want it to have a square shape, but we got a rounded radius. Yeah. So yeah, here's a trick for you. In the tab, you can just click the tab. You go to the edit mode. You can see the little box here. So you can treat this rounded shape like a stony shape like water. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to make this water fill this space. So what I'm going to do is to increase that. Okay, so I think I'm going to increase that by using the Shift and E to sort of fill that space. And you can see that when I drag it out, it sort of fill this space. And if you drag to huge distance, it will just become pretty sharp edges. So what I'm going to do is find the sweet spot here. Sometimes I don't want to drag too much, because that will cancel out the effect of the level of the viewport as well as the render. If you go that, become not so smooth. So maybe something like this. I think this is pretty good. And you can exit the edit mode and you get a pretty nice shape. Yeah, this is much more comfortable than my original thought. So of course you can increase that. You can make it more rounded, okay, more smooth. It depends on your specs, but I don't think that pretty high result will be necessary, because we are going to smooth that later on using a different technique rather than this. Okay, so we're going to try to, this is like, need to find a sweet spot. You need to make this polygon as less as possible, but also you want to make it as realistic as possible. Okay, so remember when I talk about do not add a lot of levels to smooth it, and I said we're going to use another method. Here's another method. Right click it, you got shade smooth, and this is like this is sort of like cheating. Okay, so render display faces smooth using interpolated vertex normals. So you are not actually just cut it, but you are using a sort of algorithm to make it to calculate that. So it just smooth things. So it's like a sort of a smooth sort of a weighted average algorithm that you don't need to worry too much about, because the smart, brilliant people, that make Blender already figure that out, and based on smart mathematicians. Okay, so right click on shade smoothing and say, whoa, that's so smooth. That's nearly like a I don't know, marshmallow. Okay, so it's definitely much more comfortable and definitely much more efficient if you just use the shade smooth rather than use this level viewport. Okay, okay, so yeah, and this is much more efficient. Your computer just goes pretty smoothly without actually, yeah, hit into a sort of adding load on your CPU or GPU. And here comes to the easy part because you already got the hard part already, and we can duplicate it. Okay, so for example, if you want to get armrest, things is symmetric, so you got this center point here, so you can just duplicate it. Shift D to duplicate it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is to just maybe move that to up. Let me just give it a front view by pressing numpad A, and I'm going to you can't just grab this left and right because that will move the whole symmetric object. So you're going to use tab, okay, and then grab it x-axis, sorry, A, and grab it x-axis to just move it to the side. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. And what is more important is that I'm going to rotate that, and maybe just rotate 90. You can just input that info. That's amazing. Don't just be afraid to just input the numpad. Okay, so just input that and it will work. That's amazing thing about Blender. Okay, once you got that, I think I need to make it a little bit small because that's definitely too big. So maybe S, just scale it down a little bit. Okay, and remember you're adding the mirror modifier right now, so you don't need to worry about the left side or the other side, depending on which side you're on. And maybe make it a little bit smaller. This is definitely too long. Grab it down a little bit. Okay, so yeah, pretty nice. And let's go to side view by pressing 3, and let's scale it by select everything, choosing A, scale it. Let's scale the y-axis to make it much more puffed. Yeah, so yeah, pretty good. Let me look at the detailed part. Yeah, this point you don't need to be pretty 100% accurate, and as I often said, in real life not everything's 100% accurate, so you can just eyeball it. That's the amazing thing about using Blender to create things. You are not actually the architect of I don't know, maybe a bridge or a building. You don't need to think too much about what will happen if you just miss a little bit. Okay, so sometimes you can eyeball it, and most of the time the eyeballed results is more realistic than you think. Okay, so yeah, so the armrest, let's just say this armrest is ready, and yeah, so yeah, pretty good. So I think we already got this softy area ready, and what about the wooden supports? We got this this part that's got maybe a wooden blanket sort of thing that can support this whole thing, and maybe I'm going to add a little bit lay down area that have a little bit smoothness, and then I'm going to add all these wooden legs. So yeah, so remember we also got this point here. So what I'm going to do is to Shift and A to add a mesh. Let me add a cube here, and this is a pretty big cube. Let me just scale it down. Okay, so S, let's just Z axis to just scale it down. I think the support wouldn't yeah, need big support. So let's just make something like this, and of course you can the reason for I add this is just I'm a little bit lazy. I don't want to use the mirror modifier right now, so let's just use one support. I didn't want to go one side and just mirror that. Okay, so S and X-axis. Let me just give it full support. And sometimes for artistic reasons, you don't want to extrude too much, so maybe you're going to give this a line, or maybe just a little bit inside, because once you support, you may be using a sort of a hammer to hammer it to get together, or glue to stick together. We don't need to to cover all that, so just to make it a little bit small, I think that will cover that. And for comfort reasons, you don't need this to go outside of this part, because your leg may just hit this hard part. So what I'm going to do is to go to side view and just gently grab this thing along the y-axis, and just grab us a little bit back. So yeah, I think that's definitely much more comfortable. Okay, so if you are if you are want to make it even more complex, you can just cut it in half, and then maybe just got another wooden blanket blanket up and then down, and you can get multiple layer. But I don't think that's necessary, because it's just a pretty crude mode. As long as you got the texture on, this is also a pretty good model. So yeah, I think that's right, pretty good. And then we got this lay down area, so I'm going to extrude that out. Yeah, we got a lot of ways to move it. You can just add a new one, and then change shape and make it here, and then change the edit mode. Yeah, but I'm a little bit lazy, so let's just stick with this one. Okay, so go to the edit mode, and what I'm gonna do is to make it another surface here, and working on that surface. So what I'm gonna do is to select this. I think I got a 3. Never mind. Let's just select the face. And what I'm gonna do is go to the 3, non-pair 3. You can grab the inside, y-axis. You can grab the inside, and just about the edges of this couch, just the armrest, and you tap it, and then you can grab it again. Remember, you still select that the faces. You grab it again, you can grab it out, and I'm going to grab the y-axis, grab it out, and that will be our wooden area to lie on. Okay, so I think I already got this sort of a cutting point here. Obviously I don't have, so I think I may need to apply that. So grab it, y-axis, grab it in, and then I'm going to grab that out. Yeah, pretty strange. I did not get a cut. Maybe I'm going to use loop cut. Yeah, so instead of the loop cut, I think maybe I just extrude that. I think that's better. So E, you got that, you got E, extrude out. Okay, so maybe let me just extrude out like this, and I think it's pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is to select the top face here, go to the side view, and I'm going to extrude out as well. Okay, and of course I think you can also grab that out. I think this is to grabbing it out. Okay, so just to make things even more interesting, because I think this whole armrest area is a little bit small, I'm going to make it pretty high, and I'm going to make this whole couch a little bit curved, so it's sort of like the curved structure like this, so we get a huge area to rest our head, and maybe yeah, add some pillow here. And I think the let's just exit edit mode. I think this may be a little bit too small for that, so what I'm going to do is to select all that and go to the top view. I think maybe scale that y-axis. Let me just make it, yeah, this looks much more comfortable because we got much more space. Remember, we get this sort of overlap here. As long as not too fake, you can just eyeball that and move it out. Okay, because you know, in reality nothing is perfect, so yeah, I can just yeah, eyeball it and move it out. And even though we got a little bit overlap, yeah, in reality we also got overlap. Not the sort of quantum sort of overlap, but it's we got a weight rest on this wooden area, so we got overlap. Okay, so yeah, and yeah, this looks a little bit sharp and dangerous, so what I'm going to do is to maybe make it less dangerous by choose this part and go to the wireframe and edit it. Let me just go to side view and to edit it by maybe just grab this grab this area, grab it, move it, so you can, yeah, move that smoothly. I think the wireframe mode is pretty important, especially you got a lot of things that overlap with one another. Okay, so change that. Maybe I'm going to grab this couch as well. So we got this couch cube, or we can go to the edit mode. We select a certain point that we want to grab, and yeah, my screen is a little bit dark, so I don't know whether you guys can see it or not. So yeah, essentially I'm going to get this armrest. Okay, so it's object mode, definitely not the case. I'm going to into the edit mode. Let's go to side view. Let's make it a little bit closer, and I'm going to select this area. And remember, the inside you can sort of treat it as a fluid. Okay, so you just fill out the space that you yeah, make for them. So I'm going to grab that maybe a little bit up, but nothing too crazy, just something like that. And yeah, let's go back to solid so I can see what sort of crazy thing that I've done. Okay, so yeah, I think that's already a big stretch, and maybe add a little bit down here, or maybe just something like that. Okay, so yeah, I don't really care about that, but clearly this area needs a little bit fixing, so maybe just go to 3, go back to this queue, and just exit edit mode and enter edit mode when I select this one and go to wireframe, because this part definitely needs to go down. Okay, so let's grab it a little bit closer, get a little bit down, maybe grab it, make it less intrusive, because it's really pretty hard and may hit, bump your head, something like that. Okay, so yeah, just make it less intrusive. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. We got a pretty good shape couch. Yeah, of course you can get a sort of futon on it at the leg. Yeah, I think that's already pretty good. So we're going to add some cushions, futons, and add a little bit wooden legs. But yeah, as I said, this video is already pretty long. I tend to make video less than 30 minutes because I watched the data that said that my video is just too long. Not all of you guys can stick to the end of this video. So yeah, maybe I'm going to it and then make the video go yeah, quicker. But I love to share every step of the way um, uh, of me doing it, and why I made a mistake and how I changed that and I rectified mistake. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for your support, and don't forget, it really helped me a lot if you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumb up. And I think in the next video I'm going to finish all this detail and maybe add a sort of a blanket on it, or some maybe add some sort of a simulation so I can get much more realistic. And of course you're going to add texture on it in order to bring